Disclaimer: the Transformers series is owned by Hasbro. Remember that. Hello Mutinators, I'm Andre Terminator, and today we have a special thing today. You probably have waited this for a very long time, so here it is. This is my review of the Transformers Unicron trilogy. So without wasting any more time, this is the Transformers Unicron trilogy review. And now, let's start the intro. Hit it! So let's get started with the first of the Unicron trilogy that started the whole thing. Yeah, of course. Anyway, let's start with Transformers Armada. Transformers Armada was the start of the whole thing. In Japan, it's known as Transformers Micro Daijutsu, or how you pronounce that word. Anyway, I'm of course gonna talk about them in these categories: the story, the animation, voice actors, and the characters, and the best moments in this series. I'm gonna judge them one by one and see if they all are good. With that said, let's start with the first one, which is the story. In the first episode, first encounters, we found out what the story is all about.
Light years ago, deep in the cosmos, a unique digital entity came into being. In search of other life forms, it sent explorers out to the furthest reaches of the galaxy. These digital, mechanical beings became known as Transformers. One of the first planets inhabited was soon to become known throughout time and space as Cybertron. A civil war between them raged on, and at stake was a race of tiny bots known as Minicons.
From that bit of the story, you can guess that the Autobots and Decepticons fight each other because the Decepticons wants to take over the universe, and the Autobots wants to stop them. Anyway, in the hopes of battle, they decide they have friends called the Minicons to help them. Although that the Minicons not want to be in the brink of a war. So the Autobots help them escape via a spaceship that could get them far away from the war as possible, so they can take refuge among the stars. They open a portal which leads them to Earth. And that causes their ship to crash on the moon for some reason, but that's because it did. And after that, they basically half of the ship fall down to planet of Earth, and then the other Minicons scattered across the across the world. Anyway, now let's talk about then we see our human characters. What was their name again?
Hi, my name's Rad. I guess you could say I come from your average, ordinary neighborhood, and my school, well, I guess it's okay. Oh, yeah! Huh? Hey! That's my buddy Carlos.
Okay, Rad and Carlos. And they also have a female friend named Alexis. Yeah, I could say her name without even remembering because I only knew that name. Anyway, Rad and Carlos decide one day to go and explore in a cave, which happened when they discovered a part of an old ship, which happens to be, you guessed it, a Minicon ship. Then they found a Minicon plate which begins to shine, which causes the ship to activate, can you say, causing an earthquake, and then later causing something to happen that actually it causes some kind of beam thing that goes over that makes a descent all the way to the moon, and the other ones goes directly to the planet of Cybertron, causing the Autobots to find out about their certain Autobot situation. The Minicons are there, and wait a minute, go back, yeah, go back there. Isn't that Hound, the green one with that rocket thing? Why isn't he in the show? Anyway, then they get out of the cave and find a purple thing coming down, and well, it doesn't look friendly, and of course it is holy smoke, it's a Decepticon! So anyway, then at one point the Minicon starts to flash, causing the Decepticon to go back, causing the Minicon to awaken, leaving us with the first time we see a Minicon. Literally, the first time we see a Minicon, and it looks adorable. I mean, it's basically a Cybertronian Transformer with just smaller. Oh shit! Then the robot decides to rotate its head and what? And by the power of rotating my head, I can scan a vehicle, which is a bike, which is lame. Why did I copy that? Anyway, the Minicon wants them to go aboard so they can escape from the Decepticon. You know what? Why am I even hiding his identity? I mean, seriously, what the fuck am I doing? Fuck it, I'm just going to say who it is. It's Megatron. Yeah. You know why? You know how I can see it? It's obviously him. Look at him. He looks like Megatron. Anyway, with the power of a stone, he managed to knock them out, and he decided to talk, and he talks like this.
You have something of mine.
We have what?
Give it back immediately, or you shall suffer the consequences.
Oh, great.
That sounds intimidating. Anyway, Megatron says that they had the last time. But when hope seems lost,
Stand down, Megatron. Optimus Prime.
Optimus who?
wow, he looks like his G1 self. Anyway, then they decided to have a freaking fight. Of course, they're against each other. One is the leader of the Decepticons and one is the leader of the Autobots. Go figures. Anyway, then it ends here, episode 1 ends here, and then we get to episode 2, where you meet more baddies of Megatron, including Starscream. Yeah, the Seeker Starscream, Demolisher, and of course we also meet the other Autobots, which include Red Alert, right here, and Hotshot. Of course, after a certain retreat from the Decepticons, they go back to the base, where Cyclonus is waiting for them. And, well, Cyclonus asks Megatron in, I quote,
Were you able to get the Minicons? No.
Quiet, you incompetent fool. Starscream, you scanned the planet. Did you detect the Minicon ship anywhere?
Well, perhaps it was destroyed. Maybe Cyclonus would have better luck finding it.
Sir, allow me. I just know I'll be able to pinpoint the Minicon's exact location. I would be greatly honored if you'd let me.
so after Megatron talked without using his mouth, we see the humans talk about what happened just before. Then they discovered a cave where the Minicon shows them, well, tells them about the origins, and of course there's 2 more Minicons here. They decide to touch them and we get 2 new Minicons, and they look adorable just like the other one. Megatron later finds his old pal Minicon, which for some weird reason is his old pal Minicon, of course like I said before, which for some reason is called Leader 1. Yeah, I'm serious, he's flat out called Leader 1.
It's so good to see you again. Oh, it's perfect. And it's my old Minicon, Leader 1.
Oh yeah, great idea. Calling one's a Minicon after a number and a simple word as leader. Sometimes those names are kind of stupid. Of course, for some reason leaves a mark there. But anyway, Demolisher and the others then after that decided to go after some Minicons. Because there were 2 that were awakened on Earth, which was the ones we saw before. The humans woke up. Anyway, so after that they decided to use their vehicle modes, which, yeah, and Megatron decided they should have used them because, according to him and he.
What is that?
Sir, what have you done here?
I've modified your designs when you switch to vehicle mode. And once we have the other Minicons, you'll be even more powerful.
It's a power thing. Anyway, we see Optimus Prime standing there, looking at a vehicle and decides to scan it. Well, yeah, and the driver is for some reason surprised that his vehicle is being scanned, but it doesn't know it. And by the way, the vehicle mode is gonna look weird, different. Anyway, then we go into Megatron, who after seeing the Minicons transforms into a tank. He looks cool in that mode, by the way. Then we of course see the other Decepticons. The monster turns into whatever. Starscream a jet mode and a helicopter for Cyclonus. Anyway, then we see Optimus Prime's vehicle mode because he decides to ram Megatron in a hilarious way we're gonna talk about later. And asks the kids to go inside, and then he transforms and he looks completely different from what he used to be. That kind of leads to the next episode. After, of course, we also see Hotshot and Red Alert's new look, and of course that leads to episode 3 with showing Optimus Prime's super mode. Which okay, what is wrong with that headpiece? That looks dumb and weird, but nah, it looks okay. But of course, Optimus Prime retaliates to Megatron by saying a badass line, and that line is, and he quoted,
These kids out of our battle, Megatron, or face my wrath.
oh yeah, that leads to that episode. Anyway, the point is, the series is about the Autobots and Decepticons trying to collect the Minicons in order to see who's the best one, that is. In any case, the Minicons is basically a plot MacGuffin. Yeah, plot MacGuffin. But they have to find the Minicons in order to... The Autobots... And of course, they each behave them differently. The Autobots behave them like equals, while the Decepticons... But for the Decepticons, they're nothing but slaves. Then the human characters decide to join the Autobots in order to save the Minicons and save the universe from all sorts of evil. You know what? The story is actually pretty good for what it is. I mean, it's not bad. It's not technically super good. I mean, the plot MacGuffin thing has been used many times, but it actually was made in a creative way. Even though it probably sounds like Pokemon in some sense, as in the catchphrase, gotta catch 'em all. But anyway, that was the story. And so far it's actually pretty good. All the characters are written well. Anyway, let's go into the next thing. I can easily say that there's no doubt about the animation. It's freaking cool. This is, as you already know, the animation is similar to anime, because this was the first one that used anime-style graphics, because it was also released, this series was also released in Japan, as I stated before. Anyway, the animation is so breathtaking. It moves so fluent. It's sharp and really cool. And I can't believe that freaking adults is not pleasing with this series. I mean, come on, are you kidding me? I mean, seriously, I thought, wow, you can't seem to please adults nowadays. Anyway, so basically the animation is pretty fucking phenomenal. I mean, the character designs to some of the characters looks fucking awesome. I mean, seriously, Red Alert looks decent. Optimus Prime looks damn awesome, as well as Megatron. And Hotshot looks, and Hotshot's design fits him in some kind of way. And do we even need to talk about the intro and the music about it? It's freaking good. Sorry about that thing behind right there. Anyway, that was fucking awesome. I mean, seriously, wow. Japan gets awesome stuff. And of course, every time they show neat animation, They show up a few, of course. There's some animation errors, but it doesn't bother me. But there's one thing that bothers me. Why the fuck why the hell does the Japanese get the better intros? I mean, seriously, look at this opening animation here. This looks awesome. Why didn't we get that? Why, America? You could easily put that here as the opening, just with maybe either a different opening music or just the same music. I mean, come on. But anyway, that was all for the animation and music. Now let's go on to the next one. The voice actors. Holy shit. I can talk about them all day. The voice acting here is freaking awesome. The reason why it's, yeah. Basically, each character has an awesome voice. As you probably already know, first is Optimus. The three I like the most is the ones performed by Optimus, Megatron, and Starscream. The first one I'm going to talk about is Optimus Prime. As you already know, Peter Cullen, the original voice of Optimus Prime, doesn't voice him in the Unicron trilogy for a long time. Optimus Prime for a long time, and was replaced by Gary Culk, and he actually does a very good performance for what I can hear.
Prepare to warp me to Jetfire's coordinates. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. Now do it.
Super mode! Transform! Overload! Power link!
We also get, let me see, what was the name again? David Carey as Megatron, and I would say he does in my opinion, a better job at voicing Megatron than Frank Walker. I'm sorry, but seriously, whenever I hear Megatron voice in the Unicron trilogy, I always hear something out of him. Then everything he says makes Megatron intimidating.
What's that? You don't enjoy my earthly humor? Buck up, soldier, or you'll be looking at a demotion. You are a freak.
And of course, the one that I think has been made and a good improvement was Starscream's voice, performed by Michael Dobson. Now, while I do like the G1 Starscream voice actor, I mean, after all, he comes from a nostalgic show of mine, which is the G1 cartoon, which is awesome, but there's some moments where Starscream's voice gets, well, as I put it, annoying.
You washed up Starscream?
My time will come, Megatron. Please, don't fire. I was wrong. I shouldn't have done it. Please, don't shoot. Megatron! Megatron! Hey, who did that?
But here, I always hear a Starscream-like impression here that actually works for him in this series.
Transform! Thrust, show yourself! You don't understand anything about me, Thrust. I'll get my revenge because I have the tools to get the job done. So out of my way, or I'll slice you in half, you pathetic snake!
Oh, you...
Well, the point what I'm trying to give here is that the voice acting is pretty good for what the series is. Oh, speaking of which, the voice acting leads to another thing. And that's the next part. By far, the best thing about Transformers Armada are the characters. My god, the characters. Before we get to the Transformers themselves, I would talk about the humans. They're okay. They're not as annoying as people makes them out to make. I don't hate Rad and don't hate Carlos, and I certainly don't hate Alexis. But what they do a good job anyway. The voice acting, as I previously mentioned, is also good. Also with them. Let's go on with the characters. We of course have the villain Megatron, which is the guy we just talked about earlier, and then we also get the main characters like Optimus Prime, Hotshot. Yeah, Hotshot. We also get Red Alert, Smokescreen right here, Scavenger, which is really Scavenger, Blur, which is right here, the awesome second in command Jetfire, which is this guy right here, the awesome some kind of loyal Sideswipe, of course. We also get villains like Cyclonus, the awesome Starscream, Demolisher, which transforms to a vehicle I don't know how to pronounce, and the awesome Manipulator Sideways, and the dumb-witted ginormous Tidal Wave, who can combine with Megatron, as you can clearly see here. We also got Wheeljack as this other guy. I do like the character's personality. Demolisher and Cyclonus being the comedic take on comedic characters who are, by the way, in my opinion, underrated. And yeah, almost every character has something that I like, except fucking Thrust. I fucking hate that guy. Anyway, all the characters, check this spot for me. Hotshot being the kiddable character after they lost the rights to the name Bumblebee, and of course, yeah, they lost the rights to the name Bumblebee at one time and until the 80 movies. Optimus Prime be as awesome and loyal as always, which we all know is fucking badass. Some kind of Red Alert being the medic of the team. Okay, but that's random, but okay. And of course, I do like some of the characters' some of the new changes to some of the characters, and some of the new ones too. Although I would say that I can't remember what kind of personality they were going for with Smokescreen, but I do remember someone like Scavenger, who is being a teacher for Hotshot, the awesome fast driving loner Blur, who by the way doesn't talk in 1 million miles per hour, and the awesome cocky Jetfire being the second in command, the Sideswipe being the loyal soldier. Yeah, you can hear that I have sometimes trouble by saying their names, but anyway, the ones I'm gonna talk about the most are right here. The characters I'm talking about the most are Megatron and the awesome Starscream. Now, let's start with Megatron. Holy shit, he is badass. He is fucking awesome. I'm not gonna say. He's just like his G1 self. Evil, calculated, and always insane. Okay, not as insane as Galvatron in G1, but you get the point. He's also cool and calm and collective, like I always see him to be, and he always seems to know what he's doing. Okay, sometimes he doesn't know because, well, a certain guy named Thrust is fucking terrible at missions. And also, here's another thing that he has that the other Megatrons doesn't have. He has a sense of humor.
Do as the squid head says, man. Squidhead? Even you, Megatron?
Stop laughing. This is serious.
There is no need to get yourself all worked up, Thrust.
Well, nobody seems to listen to me.
You must excuse my men's conduct. They're just a little giddy over the prospect of returning home to Cybertron in the next few days. And we must keep up the morale of the men, Thrust. I'm a little giddy myself, Squidhead. Don't you just love watching those miserable mechanical morons attempting to attack me, Squidhead?
Megatron is also the character that is, if you try to obey his rules, you're finished. I mean, seriously. You will be destroyed in the inch of life if you obey his rules.
You've really got some nerve. You're in no position to tell me what to do. Face it, the Decepticons will take control of all the Minicons.
Starscream is in detention as you requested, Megatron.
Very well.
Sir, I know that our mission failed, but why did you discipline him in such a harsh manner?
Because if anyone dares to defy my authority, they will get the same treatment.
Of course, sir.
It could have been mine. If it weren't for the Autobots, I would have had that Minicon right now. Optimus Prime got lucky, but sooner or later his luck will run out.
So, basically like that. Also, you do not want to piss this guy off. He will also destroy you if you do that. Anyway, so he's awesome. Anyway, but his awesomeness doesn't compare to the awesomeness that is Starscream's incarnation in Transformers Armada. Yeah, you heard me. Oh yeah, you fucking heard me. He, in my opinion, is better than the Transformers Prime Starscream, better than G1 Starscream. He is the best one ever. He is, like before, powerful, vicious, and cutting. But here, he's also loyal to Megatron for once. Holy shit, that's something new. But here's another thing that Starscream has that has an ultimate trump card about him. He cares about things other than just himself. I mean, come on. He's very good to his Minicon named, I think it's Swindle. Yeah, I think it's Swindle he's calling his Minicon, which by the way is an awesome name. You know what, Starscream, is his name Swindle?
Oh, you swindle!
Of course, his name is Swindle. Of course. He can also combine Swindle, as other characters do, to perform an attack called the Nile Laser Cannon, which, by the way, is awesome. Anyway, and he does something that make the other Autobots, this other Starscreams wouldn't dare to do. Get this. He joins the Autobots after Megatron betrays him to, well, beat Megatron to a pulp, and the only ones that aren't suspicious of him are the humans, which quite is adorable. I mean, they even give him a gift. That's kind of nice. I also like the relationship between Starscream and Lexus. That's kind of adorable. But of course, good things never last, but we're gonna get to that when we get to that. What I'm trying to come up with here is that he adapts more than any other character, in my opinion. I like his portrayal in this series. With that said, the characters are awesome, except, well, Thrust. And I can't remember that much of Smokescreen, but I will always remember Starscream and Megatron and almost all the other characters. Anyway, let's go to the final category. Now, this is the final category. Oh, by the way, in terms of good moments, there's a lot. But before I get to those, I have to say, spoiler alert! Because I'm gonna spoil major plot things that are gonna happen. Okay, not that many. Of course, I do already have mentioned that point where Megatron has a sense of humor, where he calls Thrust Squidhead, which, by the way, he is a Squidhead. He stings like hell. Why didn't you say that? You stink like hell. Thrust, you're so stupid. Okay, that's not my Megatron impression, dude. Anyway, there's also awesome moments, like the first time we ever see a Armada version of Nemesis Prime. Oh, by the way, is fucking an awesome idea. He's just a waste of potential. We also get that and he seriously. Oh yeah, God, Starscream can make one of his wings into a sword, and also, and that was the point where Nemesis Prime beat the living shit out of him on a punch-up Meddler, Demolisher, Megatron, and Starscream. Yeah. And thanks to some minicons, they changed. They got powered up, but they changed their appearance. They changed their appearance, but not that much. I mean, it's just a recolor. They just get recolored. That's it. Of course, that's not technically a bad thing, but well, at least it's not like that. Well, Megatron suddenly be like, let me see, I got a new recolor. Oh yeah, I have an idea. Instead of calling myself Megatron, like I mostly do, yeah, you know what, instead of calling myself Megatron, I will call myself Galvatron now. I mean,
Blaster, Galvatron to you.
Okay, are you fucking serious? He calls himself Megatron after a recolor. Yeah, that's one thing I think is stupid about the Unicron trilogy, and that is simple. Every time Unicron appears, and after he turns into Unicron, he just is a recolor of Megatron! Are you serious? That's so stupid! I mean, come on. Seriously, stupid. The other awesome moment is Optimus and Megatron's final confrontation after joining forces to defeat Unicron. They decide to battle in one last battle in an episode called Mortal Kombat, by the way. Yeah, a reference to a video game. Amazing. Except that it isn't spelled with a C. Oh, by the way, this battle is kick-ass. They seems to be very good ties. I also like this moment. Boom. I mean, come on. I was amazed about this moment. I mean, come on. I also like the moment where after their long battle, they decided after that they actually sit down and talk.
Now that's the old Optimus I used to know. But the battle is over. I have nothing left for you. You defeated me fair and square. No, Galvatron. I think we'll have to call this one a draw. You have to admit we really went at it, huh? And throughout our careers, we've been fairly evenly matched. You know, I've enjoyed every nanosecond of it, Optimus.
Sorry, but I could never admit to enjoying the battle. However, it was a necessary evil to obtain peace. Unfortunately, I may never see that day. I only wish that whoever survives us will remove evil from the universe.
Well, at least you were right about one thing, Prime, and that is you will never survive beyond today. And that means I shall become Supreme Commander.
Yeah, that seems to be an awesome thing. I mean, why the first thing I'm going to talk... Oh yeah. Now let's go on to three moments that I think was surprising for me. So, spoiler alert, because some of them are just... You have to see them for yourself if you want. Anyway, the first moment is when is the ultimate sacrifice of Optimus Prime. After Optimus Prime found out that that combination of three weapons combines into a destructive weapon, they decided to destroy. It can destroy Earth. So Optimus Prime decided to use the Matrix of Leadership to stop that ginormous laser thing, and Well, it seems that it works. Works a lot. And ignore that voice right there. And it seems that it actually destroys a little bit of the ship. And yeah, actually it does. Even though the ship kind of looks awesome. Of course they... Holy shit, that's surprising. Of course, at the end... Of course, now I'm just talking random syllables for some stupid reason. Anyway, then of course, we see a giant flash of light. Whoa! There's so this. Okay, fuck it. Then we of course see some kind of light bursting, and then we see Optimus Prime. Of course, we think that he's alive. But then...
No! Optimus! What the?
He's completely disintegrated into space dust.
Optimus!
No! This can't be happening!
It's time to make a hasty retreat, Thrust.
Now, this was a sad moment. Of course, we're gonna get to a sad moment later on, but anyway, the only thing that was left of Optimus was, well, his Minicon partner and his matrix of leadership. It was surprising. Of course, he does get resurrected, but seriously, I never expect this to happen. Anyway, let's go on to the next part, which is, by the way, at the end. So, spoiler alert! I'm gonna spoil a little bit of the ending of the Transformers. So, okay, I'm gonna spoil the ending to Transformers. Anyway, after their giant battle, they met Galvatron and Optimus the Unicron starts to turn back to normal, causing them to almost fall down to the hole. But then something I never expected happens. This happens.
Why are you doing this? Never mind. We've got enough to worry about. Let me go and Unicron will be destroyed. I can't do that. If you let me go, then the war between us will be over. Unicron will cease to exist because there won't be enough evil in the universe for him to feed off of. Now, Optimus, time has run out. Hurry! I said cut me loose! Ah! No! Farewell, Optimus Prime. Victory is all yours. Now go and look after your men. They need you! Galvatron!
What? Did I just see that? What? Did I just see that? Oh yeah, you just see that! Galvatron! Galvatron, the person who's supposed to be evil, just sacrificed himself in order to stop the war between the Autobots and Decepticons, and to stop the terror that is Unicron. What? That is surprising for me. That is one of the reasons why he's my favorite incarnation of this character, as well as Galvatron himself. I mean, wow. Wow. That gives a lot of courage to sacrifice someone just for saving something that he didn't want to. But as that scene may be, how that scene may be awesome, and surprising, but this one, nothing beats this moment, and that is none other than the death of Starscream. Well, now I'm talking very low right now because, well, as I never saw this one coming. I never saw this one coming. This was the moment that took this to a whole new level. This was surprising. Very surprising. As you already know, Starscream is my favorite incarnation from is my favorite character from Transformers Armada, as well as my favorite incarnation of Starscream. And yeah, basically, he cared about things other than himself. He was a great version, and Alexis knows that. He is a good, awesome character. So he decided that to stop Optimus and Megatron from fighting. Why? Well, he says this.
And once all is said and done, Unicron will be destroyed and the universe will be at peace!
May I suggest that you have lost your mind? I'll destroy you.
Come and get a taste of my blade, Galvatron.
So, Starscream and Galvatron had a fight. Is having a fight. While Unicron stays there like a giant potato. The fight is actually cool. And then of course they easily fight, like the fight becomes more intense and awesome as it progresses. Of course, well, I have a hard time speaking because, well, Unicron shoots lightning at them, like, stands there, and, well, basically, they fight while these lightning storms happen, and, well, of course they battle, keep progressing, fighting. They fight, and after that, Starscream lets Galvatron impale him with the Star Saber, which is a dangerous combination. And then
The least I can do!
Starscream, where in the universe did you get all this power?
Right now that doesn't matter, does it?
Why did you let me run you through like that, soldier? This has all been a complete waste of my time!
Okay, what is happening now? What is happening? What is happening? What is happening? What is happening?
I swore an oath to you, Galvatron, and I could never break that oath.
You had this planned all along, didn't you?
I did, sir. But all of this could have been prevented if you only had given me some respect.
Save your breath, Starscream.
I gained favor from you, but nothing was ever good enough. No matter how many battles I fought, you always found fault. Then I saw how Optimus treated his men, and I realized he was a leader of integrity. Unlike you.
I respect.
None of that matters now. You must listen! Do as Optimus says and join forces with the Autobots, or else every last one of us is doomed! Please, sir, do it for me.
No, Starscream, don't!
It's time to finish this once and for all! Activate Proton Cannon! You're all
going on out there, Alexis? Alexis, wait! Alexis, wait up!
It's over, Swindle. Fought like a brave soldier until the end.
I tried to gain favor from you, but nothing was ever good enough. No matter how many battles I fought, you always found fault. Then I saw how Optimus treated his men, and I realized he was a leader of integrity. Unlike you.
Did I just see that? Did I just see it? Starscream. Excuse me, I'm gonna have a moment of silence. This moment stood out to me, not just because it's sad, not because it's powerful, but because it was from a character that I would never expect to turn to sacrifice himself to do this. I never expected Starscream, the character we mostly see as a backstabber and stuff, and you guessed it for it. This surprised me. This is a moment where we see a character we normally see as a backstabber sacrifice himself, not just to prove that Optimus and Megatron have to work, Galvatron has to work together in order to beat Unicron. Not only does it do it to show Megatron Galvatron that he has grown as a character. No, he has sacrificed himself to save those he loves, the ones he cares about. He knows that if his life wasn't taken by Unicron, the universe would have been destroyed, because then the Autobots and Skywalker would have joined forces. And see this happen. This is just the saddest moment in my opinion. There's a reason why it was on number one on my top 3 saddest moments in media, in my opinion, which later became copyrighted, and then I had to remove it because of a reason, and I can't believe this. This is tragic. This is a very tragic moment in my opinion. There's a reason why it was number one. I need to recover from this because it's sad. And those last words he said, and the last words Megatron remembered, those were sad. Just sad. Very sad. This shows that characters can change their ways and do things not just for themselves, but to everyone else. So that was Transformers Armada. So, what's my opinion of the show? It's good. This was awesome. I like the animation is good. The story is very intriguing. The characters were likable. Oh my god, this was an awesome series. I really enjoyed this. All the characters were awesome. The action was amazing. The moments were amazingly made, and everything except for one thing, which is one character, was good. I can honestly say that this could have been, and in fact should been my third favorite Transformers cartoon. Third to the G1, but that's because nostalgia. But if I had to pick it in terms of this, I would pick Transformers Armada. So Transformers Armada, you get a 9 out of 10. So now let's get on to the next series, Transformers Energon. Let's do this. As you probably already know, Transformers Armada was great. So many people expected the next one to be great. But of course, according to them, then Energon came and poorly fucked everything up. Yeah, Transformers Energon. Also known in Japan as Transformers Super Lynx, which kind of makes sense in terms of the name, but anyway, this is, I'm still gonna say all the categories that I did at Armada. So with that said, sorry. Well, again, with that said, what do I think of Transformers Energon? Well, let's just find out. This is Transformers Energon. The story takes place after Transformers Armada. And you know what? There's a giant opening where Optimus Prime explains it all. You know what? Explain the story, Optimus Prime.
I am Optimus Prime. It has been 20 Earth years since the Transformers War ended with the Decepticons. The evil living planet Unicron was damaged and blown into deep space, along with my arch-enemy, Megatron. Since then, the Autobots have forged an uneasy alliance with the Decepticons, and together we have joined with the ingenious humans in a quest for one of the rarest and most powerful elements in all the universe, Energon. Energon is the source of life itself, and harnessing its power promises to bring a better life to humankind.
The episode starts with, the first episode named Cybertron City starts with the delicious water when suddenly the city goes up from the water and you hear something. What? Okay. So, yeah, basically like that. Of course, then the ship things goes up, and a giant bridge gets made. Yeah, like that. It kind of looks awesome. I mean, it's amazing. That bridge looks awesome. Anyway, then we see the Demolisher goes out of the building, figuring out why the city was surfaced. Enter Kiger Jones, who basically made Cybertron City go up to surface after a trash talk from him, Kiger. He drives away. Hotshot then sees the problem and decides to go to talk to the Demolisher a little bit and goes after Kiger. Wow. Demolisher is still pissed. What? What? Okay, he's angry about something, but anyway, Kiger thinks he's got the hang of it until Hotshot transforms and jumps over and decides to block Kiger's path, and then, well, simple, they talk. Of course.
Okay, wise guy.
Who gave you permission to surface the city?
I don't need your permission. It's my planet, not yours. Now get out of my way!
I'm in charge of Cybertron City. You have to do what I say.
You think you're the boss? But I've had enough of bots bossing me around!
Back to the city, kicker!
Watch where you're pointing that thing!
Yeah, why didn't you have that on time? Anyway, then Kicker can feel something going on. He can feel Energon. Yeah, he can sense Energon. Because that's what we hear in the intro. Flash forward, now we go into the meteor, not a flash forward, then we see tidal wave in their asteroid base thing.
Like asteroid belt.
Okay, so tidal wave likes meteors. Go figure, I guess. Anyway, two of us were talking to him, but well, tidal wave was rude, and then they suddenly get attacked by what? Some monsters. Tidal wave decided to attack them, of course, since well, they have to avoid this conversation to happen, so they attack. After that, we see what happens over at Cybertron, where Optimus Prime is training some rookies, including a character named Ironhide. Of course, Optimus Prime beats them senseless, but Ironhide is always there, and he's always ready for a fight. He never gives up. Never. Never!
I want another shot!
I like you, Ironhide. You remind me a lot of Hotshot.
You really think so, sir?
Well, if you ask Diamond Bolt about that, then he would probably shoot you. But I would probably kick Diamond Bolt's ass. Oh, sorry, I'm not trying to bash on other creators, but that's just a reference. That's it.
It's probably the greatest compliment in the universe. I am the greatest!
Well, if you ask the fans that, then they're probably, I don't know, maybe disagree with you. Anyway, Optimus Prime found out that something terrible is happening at the meteor base right now.
Operation in the asteroid belt is under attack by a force of unknown bots. They're after the Energon.
What?
Mars One Divisions!
Well, look at that, another character returning. That's Colors from Transformers Animated. And he talks to, and also you can also see that Red and another guy is still here. But wait a minute, if they're there, then where the fuck is Red Alert? Okay. He's not there. Of course, they insist trying to see what the problem is, and decides to go over to the Cybertron City, afraid of it might get attacked. We also is introduced to Inferno, and Optimus and well, Jetfire and Inferno talk, but then Ironhide comes and then asks if he could join helping Optimus in the fight, and well, Jetfire is being an asshole.
What now, Ironhide?
You gotta take me, sir. I want to go on this mission.
Want to learn from the best, huh? Well, I hope you understand this isn't just a game.
Okay, I know I'm a rookie, Optimus, but I want to see some action.
You uploaded your Spark of Combination, Ironhide?
No, not yet. But I can.
It's your decision, Jetfire.
Okay, come on.
Sir!
Okay, never mind. Of course, then they transform, and then they open up a space bridge. Yeah, space bridge. A space bridge. If you don't know what a space bridge is, then you're living under a rock. Anyway, they go inside the space bridge. I said space bridge too much time. Anyway, then we see what happens here. Then we are introduced to Kicker's sister and mother. The sister being the one with the orange hair, and the mother being the one with blonde hair. Or why did I even explain that? Anyway, yeah, Anyway, let me get a little glimpse of Kiger's past. Yeah. You see, when he first arrived into Cybertron as a kid, but it wasn't that special to him. Of course, he was taken with his father and then was introduced to Optimus Prime and the others. And also, I gotta say, that is fucking terrifying. That is fucking creepy, scary. Put that away. Anyway, of course he didn't like it there, so he hides himself everywhere, and Optimus tries to find him. Meanwhile, he finds himself in the hands of Primus, who gives him the ability to sense Energon. Yeah, Energon. Yeah, it's not something he does out of nowhere or something. But then he finds out something terrible is going to happen. Anyway, at Autobot City, while Hotshot is talking to, well, Carlos, then of course out of nowhere, not out of nowhere, but then of course, well, Kicker comes in and tells them that they're getting ready to get attacked.
Earth is probably next in line. Thanks for the heads up.
Hotshot! You gotta submerge the city! And make it quick!
No can do, Kicker. We're right in the middle of an Energon mining up. And besides, it was you who raised the city in the first place.
Listen! We're under attack!
We're what?
Come on, let's go!
Then they get up, and of course we then... Oh, it's that guy from... Isn't that, you know... Can't you remember that Minicon from Armada? You know, the first one that was awakened? Yeah, it's him. Probably him. Of course, the Demolisher is still standing in his way. And of course, well, he didn't know what is going to happen, so he gets... Woo! Boom! And what? Yeah.
Out of my way, Demolisher! We don't have time for this! Now move! We're under attack!
What? Hey, wait! Hotshot, no!
Poor Demolisher. Then later, Kicker says that he should that the attack comes right there where he points, but Hotshot can't see it.
This better not be a joke. Yeah, whatever. There's nothing.
Well, you missed. Look, there they are.
Hey, you're right. But what?
Bots, and there's more coming, Hotshot.
How'd you know?
Take a look.
Yeah, it's so obvious since there's many dots on the sky. Anyway, the Terracons then, yeah, I think they're called Terracons. I don't know. Whatever. Put it in the comments telling me what they're named. Anyway, then they attack Demolisher, who fights back by destroying one and gets clobbered by okay. Then of course they get surrounded, but then suddenly not out of nowhere, but suddenly the Cabrias arrive. Jetfire and Optimus arrived in time. Okay, Jetfire, Optimus, and Inferno and Einhai. They of course then get ready to fight. But Optimus gets ready to fight, but not before asking Kicker a certain question.
Kicker, are you alright?
Another "are you okay" cliche. Okay, yeah, I said okay cliche because it's a bit cliche since. Of course, they still get attacked and the base rumbles. Rumbles, 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 blah, blah. Sorry. Anyway, they easily beat the shit out of them while Kicker retaliates by driving away. Of course, Optimus asks Einhai to follow him. Then Optimus Prime activates his drones named Fire 1, Copter 2, Submarine 4, and Digger 3. Wow. Wow, yeah. Really creative name there, guys. Not. Yeah, those are terrible lines. Terrible names. Of course, the driller makes a tornado. The copter uses copter blades, and I don't know what the fire does, and the driller makes a drill thing. Then suddenly Optimus gives Hotshot a Sparker combination.
Awesome. Oh man, is that Hotshot up there?
Okay, now combine with Inferno and attack!
Roger. Inferno, now! Hotshot!
Sorry, it's combination spark. Anyway, then the awesome thing happens. The transformation! The combiner transformation. I don't care what you say. That was badass. Anyway, with the upgraded power, they were able to beat more. Optimus shoots. Then Optimus Prime decides to combine with his 4 drones. And then he turns into super mode.
Optimus Prime Super Mode! Power Links! Fire 1, combine! Copter 2, combine! Digger 3, combine! Submarine 4, combine! Optimus Prime Super Mode!
Okay, do you really have to say your drones in order? That's stupid. I don't care if it's like Fire 1, combine, Copter 2, combine, Digger 3, combine, Submarine 4. Then of course Kicker gets Ironhide is on his tail, and then Kicker decides to do one thing. Jumps on him and decides to kick him. And they
What?
Alright, kid, pull over.
Hey, would you get lost, you freak? Can't you see I'm trying to create a diversion for Optimus?
Sorry, pal, but I've got my orders. Hey, what are you doing?
Pay attention! Come and get it, you freaks!
Then they get hit and, well, Kicker falls. Then Optimus throws a thing that gives him an armor. What? Are you serious? He gets an armor because Optimus threw a thing. Of course Kicker is confused where he got that armor. Optimus replies,
Your father.
What? My father?
He knew you couldn't stay out of trouble, so he wanted to give you a fighting chance. He made this armor to protect you.
What happened to those bots?
We took care of them. This isn't your fight, Kicker.
Of course, then Kicker gets pissed at Optimus for some reason. Then Ironhide gets pissed at Kicker. Yeah, for reasons, because he disrespects Hotshot. Anyway, then Optimus Prime laughs at what Kicker says, and then decided to say, well, simply this.
Nobody else, you got that? What's so funny?
Your father said you'd feel that way. You're right, Kicker. This is your future. But if you want to battle alongside us, it takes guts, determination, and discipline to be a warrior. Think you can handle it?
Whatever it takes, I'm ready.
Good. Because whoever is behind these attacks is still out there. And something tells me this is far from over.
In the next episode, we see him get accustomed to that armor of his, which by the way looks kind of weird, but whatever. Of course, then they find out that Tidal Wave is still alive, and that the weird Terracons or Predacons or whatever they call. Oh yeah, see, there's Alexis. Alexis is still there. Anyway, then we found out that of course those things are collecting Energon for some reason. Of course, Kicker's Misfits telling that they shouldn't retreat. So yeah, they don't retreat. Then of course, well, basically that the humans except Kicker decides to leave so that they don't get attacked. Yeah, basically like that. Of course, Ironhide is having orders to stay guard.
It's gonna be weird without them.
Okay, Kicker, listen up. Optimus gave me very strict orders to keep an eye on you.
Give me a break.
I don't like this any better than you do, kid.
Yeah, and most of the fans over here except me is hating on you for some reason.
Hey, are you listening?
It's an alert.
Optimus Prime then informed all the other bases they have that they should retreat so that, well, those weird monsters don't get hands on them and they have to get ready for them. Anyway, over at the desert, we see a girl. Then, of course, we then find out that Ironhide is a little bummed. Yeah. Ironhide is a little bummed that he couldn't be, well, on Optimus Prime's team. Which requires you to, and that requires that you get the, well, a combination spark, which he did.
Humans, always getting so emotional. What a complete waste of energy. I mean, what's even worse, Optimus assigns me to guard one. I should be fighting with the others. But no. I should be on Optimus's team. But no. I should have the spark of combination that Primus gave to Optimus. But no. I got nothing. But one day, I will.
Well, don't worry, you get it at one point, but, well, so far, not now. Anyway, over at the moon base, we see, well, humans retreat and...
So long, soft bodies! Oh boy, I can hardly wait for the battle to get started! Will they hit here? Or here?
Well, look at that, Cyclonus, who shoots randomly in the air, who is pumped, and he's pumped to see a battle. But then he gets attacked by laser pointers. Attention, that's what happens, Cyclonus, if you try to shoot at random. Anyway, Cyclonus then later decides to shoot at those Terracons, Predacons, or whatever they're called. Anyway, then we see at the Cybertron base that they're seeing that the moon base is getting attacked and they get ready to attack.
On you.
Yes, sir. Are you sure you have enough firepower here on Earth?
I think we'll be fine. And use the space bridge. It'll be faster than raising the city for you to...
Then we see Hotshot at the base finding an old beeping, and then he attacks the Predacons or Terracons or Microcons or what the fuck they're called. Then suddenly Kicker kicks the gun and beats the shit out of the who gives a cons. And then suddenly a giant portal appears that does nothing but let them retreat. Anyway, then of course Kicker's talking to Optimus, and then of course Kicker decides to kick, well, simply kick, well, him, but that leads to a very, very funny moment.
So, how's it going, big guy?
Did you just kick me, huh? How'd you like it if I kicked you back?
Well, it looks like you're back to normal.
You're gonna pay for this! Okay, I've had just about enough of you, kid! Hey, get back here!
Well, it looks like things are back to normal again.
Later, we see what where Tidal has been taken to. Cyclonus has been taken to a random place. Of course, with them looking at something. Then Tidal meets Scorponok, informing that informing that his old master, Megatron, or as in this case, Galvatron, is still alive. As you can clearly see from this right here, Talwave is surprised and decides to get some energon to resurrect his former master. Yeah, his former master, because he died in Armada. Dog, I forgot that one moment he would sacrifice himself. You get the point. Anyway, over at the pyramids, yeah, I think the pyramids, Ironhide then talks to Kicker. Of course, they get attacked again, and then random stuff happens where they're in the desert. Talwave decides to attack. Yeah, for some reason. Then the monster is looking at a distance, thinking hard.
Can Megatron be awakened?
In next episode, Talwave goes to a place and attacks. Yeah, attacks. Then all the others decide to go there and attack. I think the monster is going with them, but I don't know. Of course, Scorlax decides to go and attack along with them, with Cyclonus on the trail. With Scorponok having Optimus Prime's old sword, having a comeuppance with Optimus Prime. Later, yeah, by the way, in last episode he got the combination spark, and then Ironhide combines with Jetfire, and that transformation looks awesome, by the way. Anyway, then of course, well, after Scorponok destroys Optimus Prime's 4 drones, he tries to kill Optimus, but was stopped immediately by Ironhide, retaliating by saying,
What? Megatron's sword? Come on, go for it!
"Don't take it, Demolisher! It's a trap! It's a trap!"
Don't touch it! Huh? No tidal wave! Megatron will be resurrected.
You attacked our friends at Mars City and now you're gonna pay!
Yeah, shut up, Cyclone. You better shut up. Anyway, then Kicker goes to the Demolisher and, well, Cyclonus asks Kicker for help because...
Demolisher! Kicker, help me. I don't know what I am anymore.
Wow, that's deep, man. That's just deep. Anyway, the next episode they go into the Arctic with, well, Demolisher and Ironhide and Hotshot. Then of course they get surprised by Cyclonus. Then later, a weird space thing is coming. Then suddenly this is too long. Sorry, I'm using kids' cartoons to record this. Anyway, then we get to meet, well, now we actually get some reasoning. The reason why they're getting Energon is trying to collect Energons because, well, Alpha Q here wants to resurrect Unicron so that his home planets can be restored and then he can have peace again. Okay, and yeah, and he also have different heads, and they talk different ways. What?
Forgive us for failing, Alpha Q. I grow tired of this. And tired of you! We were ambushed, Your Excellency.
We don't have enough energon
To revive Megatron!
You are pathetic.
We need even more for Unicron.
And at the rate you're going, we'll never have enough energon to keep the lights on in here! And why is that?
Your constant failures are getting annoying, Scorponok.
You are expendable, you know.
Then we see the Decepticons talking to their master, wanting to revive him. Of course, they say some random things, and then Cyclonus is like, fuck it, we shouldn't resurrect him at all. We can't even resurrect him. Of course.
For you. Our deepest
That's it! Ambushed! Aw, forget it, Tidal Wave! We're never gonna bring Megatron back to life!
Don't do that.
What?
I believe Megatron said don't do that.
Ken, it's just that I never expected him to react! Gee, why do I get stuck with such a numbskull? So why are you sticking up for Megatron? Hey, he used to always treat us like dirt! As a matter of fact, I like him in this state a whole lot better!
What did you just say?
I think I'm in big trouble!
You moron. Quit fooling around.
Tidal Wave did it, sir.
Don't give me that.
So what are you doing here, Scorponok?
I've come to rectify a little problem we've been having.
Problem?
It seems someone has been using up all our energon.
You mean?
Megatron?
We have no use for the greedy. They hog our energon.
We must eliminate them.
Of course, they decided to eliminate Tidal Wave and Cyclonus. When Cyclonus tried to attack, but he is too scared. But then, well, I don't know. Cyclonus, Tidal Wave stays there, but suddenly something happens. Something happens.
Hey, it sounds like Megatron's coming back to life.
Not if I can help it.
Scorponok, just what do you think you're doing to Megatron anyway?
Eliminating a problem, that's what. What's going on? Megatron lives.
He's alive! Alive!
Megatron's awakening!
Ah! I got a bad feeling he's not too happy with us!
Megatron lives. Megatron lives. Megatron lives. How can this be happening?
Oh yeah, the almighty Galvatron has returned. Yes, I say Galvatron. I don't care what they say. It's Galvatron because he died as Galvatron. Anyway, okay, fine. I call him Megatron. Happy. Anyway, then Megatron fights, well, Scorponok right here. And then he gets pummeling beaten. Yeah. He gets beaten by Scorponok. Scorponok gets beaten and becomes, well, a Decepticon after a harsh battle. Anyway, the point of it is that the story is that one side tried to resurrect Unicron to save it, to save his own planet, while Megatron wants to resurrect Unicron so that Unicron could turn into Megatron's slave forever to wreak havoc. Anyway, many people say that the story is awful, but I don't think so. It's neat. It has a good premise, and the character Alpha Quintesson or Alpha Q wants to resurrect the planet. That's a neat story about this. Anyway, you're gonna see me talk in a different light about this series. You were expecting, oh no, you're gonna say this is awful, right? Because anyone else has it. Well, anyway, let's go to the next category. Here's another thing people is bashing about. The animation. I don't see it. I don't see the thing about the animation. Anyway, as you probably already know, the animation is basically a combination of two things. With the human characters, they uses the Transformers Armada animation, which still looks kind of cool, in my opinion. Yeah, this still looks cool. Of course, however, the Transformers themselves and some of the animation is well made in CG, which many people say looks awful. Which I would really have to say I really disagree with. I don't find the CG to be awful. I mean, seriously, you're talking to a person who watched Food Fight, and that animation is very terrible. So basically, the animation for me is just okay here. It's just good, but nothing terrible on the CG department. The only thing that's bad about the CG is that, well, it's not the greatest animation, which means that they can't show any, which the Autobots can't show any emotions while they do it. But there's sometimes when I think that they often forget that when in Transformers Armada, you have a hard time to see what expression Optimus Prime is making. The only times where I can see it is when he is through his eyes and nothing else, when he's like, or something else. That's it. And here they don't show it at all. But at least it's not like Food Fight where it's fucking awful and I mean, come on, even that animation didn't show emotion. Well, yeah, basically like that. So in summary, the CG, no, that's not awful in my opinion. In fact, I think it's good. I think it fits in this series. I think it fits Energon. Of course, there are some occasions where they use the animation from Transformers Armada to the Transformers, which still looks fucking awesome. I like how Inferno and Megatron looks in Armada, but when I see them both back to back in, for example, from CG to animation, it looks awesome. Seriously. I also like that this is one of the Transformers cartoons that decide to make the whole transformation sequence a thing. And seriously, I love these transformation sequences. They are so awesome. I especially like them when they showed with the characters. They also did it in Armada and later Energon. I don't know exactly who did it first, but I think the one that did the transformation sequence first, and in my opinion the first one to do it, was in the 2001 Transformers Robots in Disguise cartoon, which by the way is also a good show in my opinion, just not as good as the Unicron trilogy. I also like every time they transform, it's not in animation like this one, which is only happens with the combiners. Most of the time we see it in CG, and it looks fucking badass. I mean, come on, I love the transformation sequences. They are just very good put together. I'm serious. This looks awesome. Just look. This is what I call animation, not terrible animation. And I also remember that this is also one of the first as well. Just like also Robot Disguise 2001, they also have the thing of saying transform whenever they transform, like Optimus Prime transform, and whenever they power link, they say power link. That's what I found is awesome. Of course, the battle sequences, in my opinion, also doesn't look bad. Even though they can be stiff at times, but I don't find the clunkiness like many people say it does, like Diamond Bolt and such. Yeah, Diamond Bolt. I do not find the animation awful. So I hope I can beat you to it when you make your half-an-hour special and see my freaking very long video, which actually is very long. I mean, seriously, you have just seen 1 hour of this. That's how long it is. Anyway, like I said before, I do like when they shout out transform whenever they transform, because it makes sense. I mean, yeah, it makes a lot sense. I mean, I can really say that it makes a lot more sense than this.
Megatron, terrorize! Dinobot, maximize!
Yeah, I think the whole Maximals and Predacons thing shouting maximize and terrorize to be stupid. Who says terrorize? I'm gonna that terrorize is a thing you say when you're terrorizing a village or something. I'm gonna terrorize this village. That's not when you transform. And maximize, we call Maximals, so let's say maximize. Yeah, fuck, that's stupid. Anyway, the character designs, like I said before, are fucking awesome. I like the design of Optimus Prime, especially when he combines with either Wayne Saber or Omega Supreme. Holy shit, that's awesome. I also find Ironhide's design to be neat. I mean, come on, he's the rookie of this one. Anyway, with all that said, the animation is good for what it is, and well, it's not like super awful like Food Fight. I mean, if you know me by any chance, I probably would say that of course the animation on where they use Armada animation is fucking still awesome, and of course the transformation sequence is also rad as fuck. Anyway, let's just get to the next category where we basically go to the next one. I don't know if people hate this but as much as this, but let's find out. The next point is the voice acting, which in my opinion is just as good as before. Of course, there's the returning Armada characters done with the same voice actors, like Tidal Waves, Hotshot, Optimus Prime, Megatron, and Demolisher, and Cyclonus. You get the point. And the other voices that have been done is also, and the new ones that they're introduced is also awesome. For example, I like the voice acting, the actor who voiced Rodimus. It sounds so cool.
What? That monster is Tidal Wave?
Don't be intimidated, Hotshot.
That sounds like a wise person, even though he has to resurrect Unicron along with Optimus Prime. And anyway, the ones I like the most are three. That being, well, those three characters I'm talking about are Landmine, Cliffjumper, and Wing Saber. Their voices is done perfectly in my opinion.
I sure hope you're feeling lucky today, cause you're gonna need it.
Zip it, Cliffjumper. You only make them mad.
Don't tell me to zip it, Landmine. And besides, I'm tough enough to back up my trash talk. Got it?
I got it.
Hey, Optimus, you're not planning on hurting us, are you?
Try me.
Let's not fool around, Optimus. Let's power link.
Right.
Demolisher and Snowcap, in my opinion, doesn't sound awful. I mean, they do sound. I mean, I know that the whole thing about Snowcap's voice being a little more high pitched, being for many people annoying, but I found it just makes their humor even funnier because I laughed a lot when they showed up. In my opinion, Snowcap and Demolishers just, well, guess what? They're, in my opinion, just pretty dang funny.
Do they want to fight us or not?
Who knows?
Hey, hang on! Didn't they just power link? So why don't we demolish her?
You're so smart, Snowcat.
Yeah, it's a gift! Snowcat!
Demolish her!
Demolisher? I don't think this is right.
Then we of course get the other characters like, well, Scorponok, who sounds intimidating, and Jetfire being also an awesome, having an awesome performance there too. Of course, and Alpha Q also sounds pretty good by himself. I mean, it sounds okay.
This one's a heavyweight bout featuring Jetfire
Is everyone ready for this?
It's Alpha Q!
Now let's get to the one that people say is awful. Many people say that Ironhide's voice is, well, according to Diamond Balls, pretty awful.
It's Alpha Q! Ironhide! Jetfire! Powerless! Ironhide! Powerless! Ready or not, here I come!
Oh, come on, are you guys serious? So I want to know, I want to question, so it sounds like to me that you guys who hates Ironhide's voice rather hear this and this crappy voice here, right here.
I said no! Dragonbot command you, Sub-Commander Kissbot! Dragonbot not Commander Waspinator! Not anymore! Waspinator, sick of being evil, sick of being Predacon! Waspinator is...
Rather than this voice right here.
You had enough yet, huh? Oh, come on, Scorponok, is that all you...
What I'm trying to come up with here is that it sounds like you guys rather hear Wheelie from G1 or Waspinator from Transformers Beast Wars. Wow, you're sick in heads. He doesn't sound that awful. In fact, I would probably just like maybe Diamond Bolt be classified as the worst Transformers voice actor ever. Seriously, try to listen to this, right? Well, just listen here. Okay? I am Optimus Prime, leader of the Autobots. Now where the fuck are you, Megatron, you silly little
I'm right here, you bitch! Come and get me! 360 dig attack! Now I'm going to wrap you!
Retaliate helicopter spin off to...
Wow, those glowing sticks must be really important, right, Bumblebee?
We're gonna use them for poles, so for the pole dancing.
No, we're gonna use them to fucking energon things.
Screw you!
Transform! There's a big... Hurry, get some attack and see what the fuck condoms are doing. So, any luck, you fucking bastard?
No, sir, I couldn't see anything for all them black people over there.
You better stop being a racist or else I'll punch you to death, you mother bastard!
Whoa, Optimus! Please call me metallic tits. Those are not forever, you.
If they sound like a racist, yes, I wanna punch some stuff, bitch!
Whoa, you dark!
We found some bitches and some dildos!
Ew, you disgusting little bastard!
Breakfast! You're terrible at leading, Megatron, you stupid bastard!
If you were the leader of the Decepticons, we could all just retire right now.
But how dare you, you stupid bastard, you Me, Grimlock, want to fuck you up, you bastard! Me, Grimlock, fuck you!
Screw you, you big bastard, take this!
Me, Spaghetti! Go and shoot those things, you little bastard! Alright! Just do it or you actually don't get paid!
Fine, beep, 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 shoot, 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 shoot!
Here! We are Reflector, and we do jack shit in this show! Crying in German!
Hurry, Optimus Prime, we need tables to flip or else we're gonna die of sadness! Oh shit, holy sh—
Look, it's Megatron! Megatron the perv! Goodbye, Spike! I'm gonna find Atlantis!
Damn, that's a lot of spam.
Well, you better come in my truck mode so we can get some done here!
Is that a dildo?
No, you giant pervert! I'm gonna destroy you!
Nice hands.
Fuck you!
Megatron, hurry! I have a slingshot! We have terrible news! I have terrible news! Here's the slingshot so you can see me!
What is it, Starscream?
Fuck! Cybertron is gonna blow, you idiot!
No!
The point is that the voice acting is not awful. And those who think it is, it's stupid. Simply stupid. So, yeah, you're so stupid. But, again, that is the voice acting. Now let's get to the one thing that people don't like about this show, and that is, of course, the next entry. And that entry, as you already know, is by far the thing that most people freaking hate about this show is the characters. I would disagree on that though. Although I would say quickly about something. All the returning characters are there. Of course, there's one character that's come back, but is fucking terrible. I would not agree on all the characters. Well, I would agree except for one particular character entirely. And guess who it is? Yeah, you know who's coming. I'm talking about Starscream. What the hell happened here? Okay, what the fuck? What happened to it? What the fuck happened with Starscream? Seriously. When we, of course, remember when I said Transformers Armada Starscream is my favorite incarnation of this character due to his personality and what he does in the show is really amazing. I mean, come on! I put him in my top 3 saddest moments in media. But guess what they did here? Where's his personality? Well, guess what? In Transformers Energon, he has none! Guess what? And he doesn't remember anything from Transformers Armada. Not one bit. What the fuck? Seriously, the thing I remember about Starscream is his likable personality from Armada. But when they suddenly get to Energon, they fuck that up so badly. I'm seriously, it's like the developers were thinking, personality? He doesn't need that. He can teleport. Duh, I'm awesome. Let's put that in the thing, bitches. Seriously, what the fuck? Of course, there was only one character. All the other characters are awesome. Scopedock, awesome. Alpha Q or Alpha Quintesson, whatever it is called, is awesome. Yeah, basically like that. And I also like the take on Hotshot and some of the other characters. Okay, let's get to the first character. I do not hate Kicker. Yeah, not one bit. He's not, okay, he will not be called my favorite human character, but at least he is okay for what he is. I mean, it's one thing if you be just as annoying as Wheatley. Seriously, he is far more annoying than Kicker is. And at least one thing, unlike other brats, he has a reason for being like that. He's doing this because his father was like
when he was young, Energon is more important than my freaking son's safety. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. So why are you bitching and saying he's the worst human character? I mean, it's one. Here's another thing. At least he does something, unlike Robots in Disguise. But he's tolerating. But I don't find him that annoying. I also really like his relationship with, well, Ironhide, but we're getting to that character later. We also get Jetfire. Awesome. Okay, we Jetfire with it. Inferno was also a very nice take on the character too. Inferno was awesome. The human characters, other human characters were also great too. I also like the unique take they did with Rodimus Prime. Well, basically, you know, Hot Rod, which basically is the Prime version of Hot Rod. And of course, I really like what they did with Hot Rod being a cool character. He's the better, in my opinion, the better version of Ironhide. Sorry, not Rodimus. But at least we can say that this Rodimus did not do this.
Megatron, out of the way, Hot Rod.
Yes, I'm still mad at that moment, but that didn't ruin my enjoyment out of the film. And that actually is something that the movie made sure that just because that happened, the movie wasn't awful as actually. I would talk about the movie when I want to make a review of the movie because it's that good. Anyway, let's go to the bottom of this. Oh yeah, by the way, there's also Downshift. Well, even though he was repeatedly known as Cliffjumper, and for some reason it looks like Wheeljack with that head of his. I mean, seriously, why isn't he called Wheeljack? Seriously, look at his headpiece. That looks like, well, Wheeljack. That's why I'm gonna call him Wheeljack from now on. But now let's go on to the meat of the characters. Ironhide, that many people consider a terrible character in this series. According to Diamond Ball, it makes the series 50% worse. And now I'm gonna take on the complaints that they make. Why Ironhide is terrible. One, his voice is awful. First, let's go over how the character works here. Here he's a rookie that is basically in training, that you get the point. And for some reason they hate this. I find it actually an interesting take on the character for once. I know him as an old warrior, and that's awesome. Let's get to another thing. Well, and that is that he's whiny. Well, yeah, I know. Now let's get to another thing that people hate about this. They're complaining that the original one, they actually develop his character, and not in the Energon version where they reply that, well, the character's getting gets to tolerate him later on. Well, guess what? No. I can see character development here. He changes from just being a fucking rookie to a little less than a rookie. And also, he basically does some awesome things in this series, like saving Optimus or something. And let's get to another thing. Yeah, I mean, seriously, I can see character development in this character. It's not like, oh, the other character's gonna tolerate him. No, he does stuff that, well, basically develop his character. There's one point where he actually has to be like a leader, and he fails at it, and he feels, and I can see that he was put to a test there and find out that it failed when it turns out he failed at it. Wow, that's what I call deep stuff, man. Seriously. Let's go to another thing. Many people say that his voice is annoying, like Diamond Ball says. Well, bullshit. Bullshit. Are you saying that you'd rather rather hear the likes of Wheelie, or like to hear that annoying Waspinator from Transformers Beast Wars. Seriously, that's what it sounds like. And also, if you listen to, well, Diamond Ball, for him, the only lines he mostly say is kicker, kicker all the time. Well, guess what? No, he says more than that. Are you serious? I know the dubbing was not as good, but seriously, the voice acting was good for what it was, but really? The dubbing was bad? I don't think so. It's not that awful. I mean, it's more, I would say it's much better than freaking Food Fight and other types of fucking terrible things that was wrong about it. Well, that's my opinion of, well, of Ironhide. He's not awful. He is a great character. I always feel like him. It feels like I'm in his shoes. Even though that is not supposed to be like that. But that's what I feel. I feel like if I could be a character from Energon, I feel like I was the possible candidate for Ironhide. And he does things. He saves Optimus, for example, by getting killed by Scorponok almost. And the fights against him and Scorponok looks fucking amazing. So, well, basically, I just made your arguments into dead arguments. Of course, if you don't like this character, that's okay. But, in my opinion, those words you say, things you talk about this character, Ironhide, about the voice, about his voice, his character, not enough character development. For me, those are just dead arguments to me. Dead arguments. That's right. Dead arguments, which means that they're dead. They can't be used. Because I just said what I had to say in my chest in order to prove that it's a fucking dead argument. You're just using dead arguments to prove that this character is awful. Well, I would disagree, and they're not. The other characters were pretty likable too. Wow, wow, that my chest hurt, my voice box hurt a little after saying what I had to say about Ironhide. But that's because I had to put those in. Anyway, all the other characters are likable. I like the takes, what they did with the characters. I also like the returning ones. I already mentioned all the returning ones. And of course, I find it really funny that the comic duo of Snowcat and Demolisher to be pretty funny. And also, I forgot to mention that Snowcat is actually, well, Cyclonus rebuilt into a different transformation thing and transformed into an Arctic truck and had YOLO hammers. But what I'm coming at with this is that the characters are good. In my opinion, they're not terrible. Next entry. Now, the best moments of this series. Well, I'm gonna say about some of the good badass moments, but I'm also gonna talk about the hilarious and really hilarious ones. For example, we can see Cyclonus here shooting out Blink and gets shot at, which we actually saw before in a funny scene. Of course, there's also, I already established that the whole Kicker kicks the thing scene we see right here was pretty funny already, as I said in the part where we talked about the story itself, which was not that bad. I also like the moment where Megatron, at one point in a scene, in an episode, randomly says,
Ready or not, here we come, Prime.
Ready or not, here we come, Prime? This sounds like Looney Tunes style-ish things. Like they're like, Looney Tunes, let's do that. And also, by far, the most funniest moment, one of the funniest moments I've seen, is one episode where Megatron randomly decided to yarn. Sorry, but that cracks me up. I mean, who expected Megatron to yarn? Seriously. There was also one point where there was also like Psychopathic Shot Blast that got stuck. But we're not gonna talk about him. No, I do not want to talk about him. Of course, there's also memorable episodes like the Inferno trilogy, but a certain person already has upgraded that how cool they are. I also like the episode about the racing thing, but my favorite episode has to be the battle, where the Autobots and Decepticons is in this virtual battle game. And I like the battle where basically the Prowl and the Downshift battle against, well, Venom, Snowcap, and Demolish and Cyber Piling, but something seems wrong.
Power link complete!
Wait just a second here. Hey, how did I end up down here?
And after that funny moment leads to the funniest, most funniest moment in this series, in this episode, bar none.
Fight us or not?
Who knows?
Hey, hang on! Didn't they just power link? So why don't we demolish her?
You're so smart, Snowcat.
Yeah, it's a gift! Snowcat!
You Galvatron!
Demolisher? I don't think this is right.
I can talk about those moments and hilarious moments all day long. There's also the badass moments that's gonna be on honorable mention, like the battle where Optimus and Unicron battles in giant fashion. That was pretty awesome. But by far the awesome thing is the final confrontation between Optimus Prime and Galvatron, which is, by the way, an awesome battle. They're all big. Well, basically, Galvatron started as a really giant, and then Optimus Prime does it too, except in Omega Supreme's Power Link. And of course, in that madness, they say badass lines here.
Feast your eyes on the new and improved Emperor of the Dark Side. My name is Galvatron!
You don't say. Well, let's get down to business! Let me introduce myself. I am Optimus Prime, Supreme Leader of the Autobots.
And after those really badass lines, the battle is fucking awesome. I mean, seriously, they battle in the Transformers Armada animation, which looks awesome, while the others look at their battle. The attacks look freaking badass. The freaking words they say to each other while battling or something are amazing. The freaking, holy shit, it's driving to overdrive. It's such a badass moment. They just made it with love and care, of course. But of course, it ends with a fucking good ending, which I'm not gonna spoil, by the way. In my opinion, if you should watch this, you should watch it for yourself. So that was Transformers Energon. So, is it bad as many people say it is? Or is it as awful as Diamond Bolt say? No, not in my opinion. If you look at my perspective, as I already stated, it's not an awful show. It's actually pretty good for what it is. Seriously, I would say it's actually better than freaking Combine Wars and no Diamond Ball. Just don't go in this video, let's watch out this and be like, ugh, you're just stupid, you're awful. Well, guess what? That's my opinion. I enjoyed the show for what it is, yes, I saw some problems in the show, but I basically disagree with most of them. I mean, seriously, are you saying that this is that awful? So awful that even Combiner Wars looks like awesomeness? I mean, come on. If you ask me, I think it's actually pretty good for what it actually tries to do, as I previously stated twice. Everyone has their own opinions, but in my opinion, this is not bad at all. This is actually pretty good. Some people just don't see it yet. I already stated that those arguments about Ironhide is, well, now dead arguments. But let's go to the other things we know about the show that was Get Pain. Let me see. The animation, apart, the story wasn't that complicated. The animation, while being annoying by being terrible at the emotional part of the Autobot Transformers, wasn't that bad. The voice acting was good, was great, and of course basically the characters beside for 1 and 2 characters was not that bad, and it has pretty badass moments. Of course, if you don't like the show, that's fine. But for those who gonna bitch and moan about this, saying that it's awful and your opinion sucks, well, guess what? That's my opinion. It may be underrated, but that's my opinion. So with that said, I'll give this series a 9.5, a 9 out of 10, which is great. Next entry. We're almost at the end, but first but before we do that, let's end this by talking about Transformers Cybertron, and then talk about my opinion of the Unicron series as a whole. In Japan, it was called Transformers Galaxy Force, and it's a sequel to Energon. So, is it better than Transformers Energon, or is it worse? Let's find out. Now, when it comes down to the story for Transformers Cybertron, it's actually a little bit easier to guess due to, well, for one, it's not, okay, I'm gonna explain a lot, am I? Yes, I'm gonna explain. Explaining that all of this video so far is freaking long. I did already say that it was going to be my longest video ever. So anyway, the opening sets up what the story is all about.
Worlds are in danger. To save them and the galaxy, we must find the 4 cyber planet keys before the Decepticons can use them for evil.
In the first episode, simply titled Fallen, we see Hotshot help Jetfire get some supplies in, but then until a mysterious pole came in and burst out some fire. Turning out it's Starscream. Then he decides to attack. Optimus Prime later finds out that it's just a distraction to let them get distracted. Starscream tried to get Optimus, but Landmine blocked the way, causing Landmine and Starscream to have a fight. Yeah, of course the fight is getting ready. It seems that Landmine's gonna get a shot at Starscream here, but then the black hole, I guess, takes some of the planet away, and then he gets a lot of damage from Starscream's attack. With Vector Prime using with a new character named Vector Prime to basically make up that. Then we see at Earth where one of our human characters, Kobe, is racing against his dad. Yeah. So, in a motorcycle race thing. Of course, then we see them talk, but one of the human characters, Lori, isn't very happy about that.
Here for the peace and quiet, not for motocross.
Well, you disturb my peace with your big fat mouth.
I did what?
And the view.
Then Kobe's little brother Bud drops in and says, well,
life gives you lemons. Make orange soda.
Well, that's just wrong. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Not when life gives you lemons, make orange soda. That does not make sense. Then they still start to argue. Wow, that sounds like something's gonna happen between those two. I'm not gonna say anything. Then suddenly some flashing lights happens. Then suddenly something falls out from the sky. Then of course we find out that thing was Landmine, who crash lands on Earth. Yeah, and Kobe and Bud is amazed by a giant robot. So Gundams wasn't here before. Wait a minute, what? Whoa. What the And of course then Landmine asks where he is.
This ain't nothing. Where am I?
The Rocky Mountains, Colorado.
Earth, huh? Never been there. Look, kid, I ain't supposed to be here.
Come on, we'll head for the deep forest.
Then of course they decide to go to the deep forest, which is a good idea. Then we see why Lori wasn't there, because according to him she had to change because...
Now I'm dressed for a robot repair.
The female of the species.
Yeah, you can pretty much say that, except it's kind of weird. Then of course Kopi says it's a piece of cake to make those repairs by calling Mr. Robot. Then Landmine asks why they're not afraid of him. With Lori and Bud, well, they say this.
I wasn't. I guess it's true we don't know anything about you, but we could see that you needed help, so we had to do something. I mean, we couldn't just leave you there, Mr. Robot.
The name's Landmine.
Pleased to meet you, Landmine. Now, how did you wind up sitting in a crater in the middle of nowhere?
Then Landmine explains the story. He explains to the human, to Kopi and Lori and Bud, that he's from the planet Cybertron, and his people are called the Autobots, and his leader is called Optimus Prime. Then of course we then get a little more about the story and what's going on. Well, basically, Red Alert, if you don't mind explaining...
It's not good. As we feared, the destruction of Unicron has created a massive black hole. You're looking at the planet Moratoris. Thankfully, it's uninhabited.
The unthinkable had finally happened. Our war against the Decepticons had created a monster. We had blown a hole in the universe itself. A massive hole that could rip planets apart in seconds.
A black hole? Whoa, cool!
Well, that's not cool. As you hear from Red Alert, due to the destruction of Unicron, there was created a black hole afterwards. Oh, by the way, it's not that amazing that a black hole could destroy you. Anyway, then of course Cybertron is next in line. So Optimus Prime found only one solution, which is basically, well, Optimus Prime, would you please, in my... tell us?
Rest assured, we will find a solution to the terrible crisis that is facing us. However, to ensure the safety of each and every Autobot, we have no choice but to temporarily evacuate Cybertron.
They decide to evacuate Cybertron until it can finish be on Earth. Jetfire also scans some vehicle modes, like a fire engine for Optimus Prime, and then we see a badass, awesome transformation sequence.
Optimus Prime, transform!
Now that's amazing. Hotshot and well, a new character also introduced to this series named, well, Overhaul, well, gets also their vehicle modes as well. Hotshot gets a vehicle mode which is well, a race car, with Overhaul gets an overhaul. Get it? Get it? Because his name is Overhaul. You get the point. Anyway, then Jetfire gets to his vehicle mode because he already had used his vehicle mode, which is a awesome flying jet thing. Then of course, Jetfire then explains that he has more vehicles. Then Optimus Prime says says one badass thing ever.
Conceal our presence on Earth. This is rule number 1. From now on, we are robots in disguise.
Ooh, he said that line. He said that badass line we mostly know every time. Then of course he explained that the reason why they might get afraid of them. Then he explains that he doesn't know if every single, well, Autobot got out of Cybertron in time. Then of course later on they suddenly get, well, then they suddenly hear a weird noise. Then they suddenly see a mysterious portal. With that comes out a mysterious weird flying thing, an ancient flying thing, and suddenly this happened.
Megatron Prime, transform!
well, then we meet a new character, which I already explained, is Vector Prime, a badass ancient warrior. Anyway, then Vector Prime tells the Autobots to listen to his tale. Very old tale, that is.
Years ago, the Cybertronians imagined space bridges that could connect the entire universe. Ships set out into the galaxy, each carrying a cyber planet key, a tiny fragment of the spark of Primus, the very life force of Cybertron. Each key contained enough power to turn any planet into a mirror image of Cybertron. But somehow Cybertron lost contact with the fleets, and the cyber planet keys were lost forever.
And these keys can stop the black hole?
Indeed.
So basically, the open plot is to find these 4 cyber planet keys in order to stop the black, in order to get them to Cybertron, in order to stop the black hole from ever destroying the entire universe itself, and perhaps even more than just that. Of course, Optimus Prime asks how they can find them. Then Vector Prime says with a map they have. Then of course after that, then he explains that the Decepticons attack, and they of course have to explain what the Decepticons are. Then of course we see later a jet flying by itself. Yeah, just flying by itself, where it suddenly finds a mysterious black thing, then scans the vehicle mode, and then it turns out it's none other than who? Hey, he looks kind of familiar. Ah, it's Thundercracker! It's been a long time. Of course, then he decides to, well, attack in only one way. And he said it, and he quoted...
Darn if I didn't just find me one. I can't just shoot him in the back. Wouldn't be civil. I'll give him a heads up first. Then I'll shoot him in the back. Hey there, Autobots!
Talking clean?
Oh yeah, telling them that they're there and he's gonna attack is very good idea, Thundercracker. Of course, Landmine blocks the attack from the humans. Then Thundercracker tries to attack, well, get set up again. This time, then he gets hit by a giant flying freaking fire engine, who turns out is Optimus Prime. Yes, his fire engine can turn into a flying vehicle. That is fucking awesome. Seriously, look at the transformation. That looks badass. I mean, 2 cannons on each side and wings on each side. Wow, that is just awesome. Of course, then Optimus Prime and Thundercracker fights in the canyon. Well, Optimus Prime then changes into his super mode. Oh my, holy shit! Holy shit, Optimus Prime is on steroids. I mean, I knew he was going to be, his design was going to be badass, but that badass? I mean, check a look at those cannons, they're big! Then of course, Thundercracker decides to attack Optimus Prime with attacks, but, well, Optimus Prime isn't amused. Why? Well, simple. You can easily hear from his voice by where he says, and he quoted saying,
Gee, nice fireworks. Decepticon is a corner pocket.
yeah, nice fireworks. He gets easily beaten by the way. Then of course, the humans introduce themselves to the Autobots, well, and the Autobots introduce themselves to them. Have they watched Pokemon or something? Because it sounds like they got that from Ash and his friends who keeps introducing themselves every single time. Then Jetfire asks Optimus why they don't explain what, well, happened to the map. Then of course Optimus Prime is agreeing because they're in on this one. Then Optimus Prime explains via flashback. Yes, a flashback. Well, basically, after the map was done, well, basically, they get a warm welcome by, a dark welcome in the form of the evil Megatron. Oh yeah, yes. Then of course, Scattershot tried to attack, but failed. Then of course, Optimus Prime talks to
Prime, sir. Thank goodness I found you. We must act quickly before those fiendish Autobots return.
Okay, where is Dave and Kenny? Anyway, then he explains that the Autobots are the evil persons that try to, well, use the powers from the powers of Primus for themselves and asks Vector Prime to give him the map. Wow, yeah, like no one would believe, like someone would believe that from something that you hear from a guy that looks purple and evil. Then of course Vector Prime can see it, and then Megatron takes the map. Dirty bastard. Then Optimus Prime shows up, and then they of course have an awesome fight like every single incarnation has with each other. Then of course Megatron decides to be a cheater by using some kind of stupid lightning thing to freaking bastard. Then of course later Optimus Prime decides to combine with his trailer to perform into his super mode, ultra destructive god mode of destruction. Seriously, it is that powerful. Watch Diamond Ball's the strongest incarnations of Optimus Prime, and you can see why he's just as strong as the Power Master Prime from the Marvel comics. Yes, he's that powerful. So anyway, due to a windshield that Optimus Prime has, Megatron can see that Skyshot were trying to attack him from the back, which failed epically with him shooting lightning at them, beating them easily. Then of course he said some nonsense, and then later Vector Prime started stopping, but failed epically too. Then they try to stop facing that, and then we get stopped the flashback. Then of course Kobe asks why they can't just not make another map.
But there has to be another way. You collected the data once. Can't you do it again?
Perhaps. But the black hole grows ever larger. We may not have time to make another. Minicons!
Then of course he reveals his 3 Minicon companions, which are Jolt, which is all Jolt, who can transform into a helicopter, and two other Minicons I can't remember the names of. So what is their name?
I am Jolt, and these are 6 Speed and Rebirth, ready for action.
6 Speed and Rebirth. Okay. Then of course he asks what planet they are. Then of course Kobe says planet Earth. Then suddenly Jolt gets amazed by a shirt.
What?
By the Allspark.
What? It's not even mine. I borrowed it from my brother.
It bears the image of the Omega Lock.
Supposed to be a symbol from Atlantis or something.
Then Optimus Prime asks what that means exactly.
It means that the Omega Lock may well be hidden here on Earth, and with it a duplicate map.
In the next episode, simply titled something, they decided to make a base on some random cliffside. Then of course they scanned the area, but at first the base looked like a giant clusterfuck. Yes, a giant clusterfuck. Look at it! Does that look like a base to you? No! Then of course Lori explains the wrongness about it. It should be something that is around the central hub with easy access to every single place. Then of course Schultz shows the real thing. Then of course they insult humanity. Wow, thanks for nothing.
That's just rude.
Then of course they get ready to shoot some rocks so they can get ready to, basically have that. Of course Landmine gets to do nothing because, Optimus Prime wants him at full strength before he can do anything. Then suddenly Vector Prime decides to start up an obnoxious and annoying sound called...
That's so cool.
Well, basically it's part of the Omega Lock sound, so that they have to hear that in order for the Omega Lock to actually sound accurate. Yeah, basically like that. Then of course Megatron is suspicious what happens there. Then of course they talk about... Kobe talks about a catapult that Jetfire should use in his takeoffs. He doesn't get it at all.
On the platform, then blam! You're in the stratosphere.
Look, kid, I don't know what the heck. No, Jetfire. I think the kid's got the right idea.
Then Scatshot explodes.
Catapult thing. You could reach maximum velocity before you leave the base, without using extra energon.
Really?
Well, why didn't you say that in the first place?
We did!
Then we see them make the base even further by wires, okay, and later it looks like a base. Then of course they find out that Megatron and Starscream are headed towards Earth. And of course they forgot to put the beam stealth code, so Optimus was like, well, leaving Earth and the base, no. Then of course they decide to distract Megatron while they can put the stealth beam code in check, causing them to have a fight with Megatron and Starscream. Of course Vector Prime wants the map back. Then of course they have hard time. Then of course Starscream and Megatron then see that they block a path and try to get to, well, the base, what they're after. Then Vector Prime suddenly stops him, and well, then later he suddenly retaliates by, what? By the Allspark of Cybertron! Seriously, what is that?
That light! It stopped Megatron cold!
Cover me, I'm going in! Unlock! It must be!
So after we saw that, Optimus Prime decided to go into super mode to basically fuck everything up Megatron just did.
The warp gate!
Then of course they decide to leave and escape with the stealth beam code fixed at last. Then of course Optimus Prime tells a deep speech to, not that big, and then of course says that it's an honor to have Vector Prime on board. Then he says that his honor is his. Then of course Hotshot asks what that beam selling blazing thing that happened before was.
That was a cyber key.
A cyber key?
A tiny fragment of the power of Primus. You do not know it?
Frankly, we've never seen anything like it.
Then each of them gets a cyber planet key, with Optimus Prime being in his super mode and each places, and they earned it. And basically that's basically almost all of the story I can tell. The next episode was about the human characters try to, well, help the other Autobots try to hide from the others, with each of them started as an epic fail, like a submarine and a parking lot situation where the Autobots forgot that they shouldn't, well, try to make stunts while parking, which is stupid. Then of course Lori, the stupidest one ever, is a freaking traffic light in the middle of the desert. Who makes that? I mean seriously, do you want to have that in the middle of the desert? No. Then of course basically they try to stop the black hole in a different way and see if that worked by using some special energy beam things to, well, to compress the black hole, but it fails. But Vector Prime explained that they need the cyber planet keys, and then they decide to go after them and find the places to find the Omega Lock and the cyber planet keys. So basically the story is really good for what it is. I mean, I really like the premise. It shows that be careful what you wish for in the other episodes, series that is. And that was all about the story. Next entry. Now when it comes to animation, Diamond Ball explained that the 3D animation is clunky. Well, I would disagree. It's not clunky. Let's go on to the first thing. The 2D animation is really good, like it always has been. The 3D animation, which is now longer CG, like in Energon, is now in 3D. In this case, it used computer animation, which looks fucking awesome. And no, it's not clunky if you ask me. it's actually pretty smooth for what it is. At least it's less clunky than Energon, which was a little clunky. It just didn't explain it in a special detail, but it wasn't too clunky, like awfully clunky. Because I thought it was just neat and okay. Again, Food Fight was worse. Seriously. Of course, the next things are that they still use the transformation and a new kind of sequence, which is the Cyberplanet key sequences, Cyber key sequences, which are fucking awesome, by the way. Then of course we also get better, and also here's another thing that Cybertron fixed in that Energon did, and that was that, well, basically in Energon, due to the CG, you could barely see the emotions of the characters. Here you can actually see them much better than before. At least they show more emotion than before. And of course the fight sequences look still fucking awesome in this animation alone. I can't believe Diamond Ball said it was like super awful clunky. Are you serious? That doesn't make sense. So yeah, the animation, the 2D animation good, and the 3D animation also good. For what this series, this sequel is about. I mean, come on, it's the third sequel to Armada, so give it a slack. Anyway, let's get to the next category. Now, when it comes to the voice acting, of course the returning Optimus. The returning voices for the old characters that we know, except for a few. Get some new voice actors instead of the old ones. Anyway, the first one we're gonna talk about is Landmine, who has a very decent voice. Yeah, it's very decent.
Tell me, kids, what brings you around here, huh?
The human characters doesn't sound too bad either. The other Autobots we're gonna hear here is also not bad either. Not at all.
Gotta find those Cyberplanet keys before it's too late.
I'm not saying I'd buy all that malarkey, but nothing else has worked.
Come on, less talking, more walking.
Yes, you just heard that. Jetfire is voiced by, well, a different voice actor. And here, he decided that, well, because of his weird mission, Jetfire got an Australian accent, which sounds awesome.
Wait! Overhaul? Where you going? We don't even know where to look yet.
Yes, I know, it's out of place, but it's not out of place that it's awful. Anyway, of course, if you listen to Diamond Ball, he says that it's awful. No, it's not. It's not awful. What are you talking about? This is at least this is actually good voice acting, just like Armada and Energon did before. Ironhide's voice was not god-awful, like you tried to explain in your opinion of your top 10 worst characters list. I can't believe you're making people to agree with you. Holy shit, I can't believe this. Anyway, then there's Thundercracker, who sounds pretty fun.
What you reckon this Omega-like thing looks like? Where exactly are we headed? Got a picture of it?
The other characters also sound pretty good. The main con sounds pretty good. And of course I also like the interesting idea to how Vector Prime sounds like, because in my opinion, he sounds like a really wise person you know, and well, and like.
We need to confirm that it is the Omega Lock.
How do we do that?
So yeah, the voice acting is not god-awful, as well Diamond Ball says it is, because it's not. You may hate it, but really, do you really have to complain it in a video, in a top 10 video no less? Really? That's stupid. And also, Megatron still sounds like a fucking badass!
I am Megatron, and now you work for me.
So there's that. The voice acting in this series is not god-awful as Diamond Ball lets you to believe. So So Diamond Ball, would you please, when you watch another top 10 of Transformers, please, for the love of God, don't be such a hissy pat for something they explain in a video. Anyway, on to the next entry. Now, when it comes to the characters, they are freaking great. But before we get to, of course, the old one comes back to get back. Of course, some of them don't. Let's get to the comic reliefs. Well, basically, the moment showing Snowcat doesn't appear in Cybertron as in Return. Instead, they get replaced by two new comic reliefs, which are, well, Crumble Zone and I forgot, Ransack. Yeah, there. And of course, each character is awesome. We of course also get characters from each planet they visit. For example, a character named from Speed Planet is Override. And some of the characters get some redesigns after some certain events happens, like Crumble Zone and three other characters like, well, Hotshot, Scattershot, and Red Alert, as well as we also get Overhaul, who's also an awesome character who later changed his character into Leo Breaker, which is a Cybertronian robot who now becomes a part of the Jungle Planet by being transforming into a, well, animal, because that's what people in Jungle Planet can do. All the other characters are also great. I mean, come on, each world has great characters. And now let's go to the thing that many people say that they agree with this universe. The human characters. The human characters, as many people suggest, are actually tolerable. They aren't as annoying as they say in like those from Armada and, well, Energon. Yeah, you know what, maybe I should make a list, a countdown of my favorite Cyber Planet kids from this series. But anyway, the kids are tolerable. They actually get development. And yes, we get another freaking recolored design for Galvatron in Megatron's design. What the fuck? Oh yeah, by the way, I have to mention it. Kobe and Lori becomes a couple at the end. That's adorable. Anyway, and now we get to probably one of my favorite incarnations of Optimus Prime himself. I like the character development he has in Transformers Cybertron. It's that good. Seriously. He changes his character. He tries to find decisions, and sometimes they work and sometimes they fail. And I really like it. He has his flaws. And of course we know that characters need flaws in order, and what we like about the characters is how they deal with their flaws, as Nostalgic once said in a video where they talk about Overs in New York. Well, a certain video, I'm not gonna explain. And look at the amazing stuff he makes. I'm calling. He wields a giant. There's one point where he wields an axe that Metroplex wields. And look, it's bigger than freaking Optimus Prime, because Metroplex is fucking that big. Seriously. You know what? I can go all day about the all about the characters in this series, but I have a hard time explaining all characters. They're all good. Every single one, well, except for one, which is a fucking female called, well, you know, one character that's awful, but that's only one character, just like Armada. So anyway, with that said, that's all I can say about the characters, because I could be here all day talking about the characters. So let's get to the final entry of Transformers Cybertron. Now, when it comes down to moments, there's a lot of great moments. I mean, seriously, all the battles has great moments in them too. They even say very good jokes in them. There's of course an awesome battle between Scourge, Snarl, and Leader Breaker, where Leader Breaker and Snarl fight against Scourge to see who can be the new ruler of Jungle Planet, which is a good battle. There's also the transformation where Overhaul transforms it, turns into Leader Breaker. There's also that moment where Scatshot, Red Alert, and Hotshot turns into, well, basically gets redesigned. And of course there's also that one moment where Starscream, after betraying Megatron and some humiliation from Optimus, battles against Primus in ginormous battle style. That is fucking amazing. Every single moment is fucking badass in each way possible. I can't believe I'm just talking out of nowhere. But now, I'm going to talk about one moment in particular, which is the final battle of Galvatron and Optimus Prime. Yes. Of course, spoilers by the way. Anyway, after the battle, Galvatron shows up to battle against Optimus one last time.
For all your crimes, it's been a long time coming.
Ha! I'll say when this is over, and that's when I wipe you Autobots out.
Bring it on! We'll tear you to scrap!
You don't stand a chance against all of us.
Stand down, Jetfire.
What?
I have to finish this myself.
But, Optimus, it doesn't have to be like this.
We're like two sides of the same coin, forever connected. It has to be me who does this.
No! It's too dangerous!
Trust me.
Yes, sir.
Come on, you gotta be kidding! I'm taking a piece of him right now!
No, let him handle this.
But why?
Because it's Optimus's fight.
Autobots, we have to keep that booster from exploding!
Right!
Roll out! Let's save this planet of death! We're here if you need us, Optimus. I just hope you don't.
Come on, let's leave him to it.
You can do it, Optimus! I believe in you!
Wow, some good speech there. Anyway, before they battle, Optimus and Galvatron, of course, like the other two moments, say some badass line before battling.
You're a fool, Optimus. You can't hope to defeat me one-on-one.
I wouldn't bet on that. I have right on my side.
For all the good that'll do. Now, prepare to meet your end.
Wrong! It's your reign of evil that's ending. Optimus Prime, Supermo!
Now, when we come to this final battle, we need some good music to end this battle. So, can you put on some music? There we go! Now the battle is on! The battle is fucking badass. Every single moment is where it happens is fucking badass. They punch and do every kind of move. They show their weaknesses and strengths. And of course and each moment builds up to another moment. I mean, come on. There's also that moment where Optimus takes Galvatron all the way to the moon in just a few seconds. The later parts of the battle is also very done, showing that, okay, not before we see the other Decepticons helping the others. And the last parts of the battle is fucking badass. I mean, come on. Of course it ends with Galvatron losing because of the power of Vector Prime showing up again. Oh, I forgot that moment, but I'm not gonna stop that because it's sad. I want you to see it for yourself. Of course, spoiler, before Galvatron dies, he does one thing, and that is to say his final words before dying, which are freaking badass lines, by the way.
Function. You haven't won.
fought well. Goodbye, Galvatron.
And then this disintegrates into dust. Wow. Yep. And that, my friends, was the end of Transformers Cybertron. So that was Transformers Cybertron. So, was it as good, if not better than I expected and probably you expected? If you ask me, hell yes! Now holy shit, this is what I call awesome. I expected a lot and I got it and more. The animation was good, the characters were likable, the story was great, the characters was amazing, the voice acting was still top notch, and the moments, oh my god, the moments were so great. Some of them were sad, some of them were intriguing, and wow, this is just a great finale to the series. This is in fact my favorite of the Unicron trilogy, which is by way of one. My second being Armada, with a close second, the third being Energon. It does everything, in my opinion, right, which is why it gets just like the others, except an extra point, being a 9.5 out of 10. And so that was the end. Which now leads to the end of my Transformers Unicron Trilogy review. So, what did I think of the Transformers Unicron Trilogy? What did I think of these awesome 3 series? As I stated with Cybertron, they are fucking great. Really, really, really. I already summed up how good the series is. The series are. The Unicron trilogy is that good. I'm that serious. The Unicron. I don't know, but seriously, the Unicron trilogy just does everything that I feel like that fits in the Transformers series. The characters, the animation, everything. Well, who'd still say that in terms of nostalgia side, Transformers G1 is still a great show, but when it comes to Transformers as a whole, in my opinion, I would say freaking this. This is amazing. Transformers. The Unicron trilogy. It doesn't do any bad stuff. Which is why I will give the Transformers Unicron trilogy a 9, not a 9 out of 10. Sorry. The whole series, the whole Unicron trilogy as a whole gets a 9 out of, not a 9 out of 10, maybe I get used to it. Sorry, a 10 out of 10. which means that it's fucking great. You should watch it, the whole entire series. With that said, I'm Andre Terminator, and I'll see you next time, and I'll let you hear this music.